Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today I wanted to talk about a list of conditions that are most often created by the brain perceiving danger, right? Just to kind of run through a big, broad list. What's most important is not whether or not your medical diagnosis is on here, but even if it is, to ascertain how your symptoms are behaving. And that's really the determining factor between structural pain and non-structural pain. In other words, brain-created pain based on the brain's perception of what's going on and whether or not it's dangerous or not, right? Because if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that the way I see TMS is that when the brain perceives danger, symptoms turn on. But in the case of chronic symptoms, it's almost always a false alarm based on misinformation and fear. So, before I get into it, relax your body. Slow down your breath. Just focus on your breath. Notice when you slow your body, relax your body, slow your breathing, you know what else slows down? Our thinking. It's a nice way to get out of our head and into our body. So, let's go through the list of things that are, in my opinion, most often caused by the brain perceiving danger. So, anxiety. Absolutely. We're not going to be feeling anxiety if the brain's not perceiving danger. Anxiety is the presence of the stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, and also very often has the presence of anxious thoughts, which are created by a brain perceiving danger. Abdominal pain and spasms, arm or leg pain, back pain and spasms, neck pain, tendinitis. If we have pain in the tendons, it is very often, any chronic symptoms are a result of the brain perceiving danger. Now let me just point out real quick, the body heals, right? Most physical injuries heal within a couple of months, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months at the most, right? The body heals. Pain that lasts longer than healing is one of the keys that, Dr. Sarno talked about very early in his books in the 1990s. He said, even the biggest bone in the body heals in 6 weeks. So it's unreasonable to expect that an injury that happened months ago or years or decades ago is still hurting because the body heals. And most of the pain from a true injury happens immediately and reasonably quickly gets better until it's gone. So, let me keep going. RSI, repetitive strain injuries. CRPS, complex regional pain syndrome, very often is created by brain perceiving danger, even though there's swelling and discoloration. I've got a couple of CRPS success stories. Pain-free you success. Depression, also created by a brain perceiving danger. My understanding of depression is we've got deep sadness and no hope, right? And when you find some hope, the depression lifts. So, yes, caused by brain perceiving danger. Dizziness, including PPPD and MmDS, right? These various dizziness syndromes. Facial pain, often referred to as trigeminal neuralgia, right? Tooth pain, often the same. If you've been checked out and there's no tooth damage or cavities or infections, very, very likely that the brain is creating symptoms based on the perception of danger. Fibromyalgia. That is a medical label given to people who have a certain number of symptoms that are in common with other people who have been given that label. But it's not really a formal disease. It is a label given to somebody with a collection of symptoms. And fibromyalgia is created by the brain perceiving danger. We've got lots of success stories there. Insomnia is often sleep patterns that are created by the brain being stressed out and worried about not being able to sleep. Not always. There could be some medical issues, but for the most part, insomnia. It's created by the brain perceiving danger and worried and fearful that I'm not going to sleep. Brain fog, same thing, very often caused by the brain perceiving danger. IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, most digestive. I say most, not all. Digestive issues are created by a brain perceiving danger. Why? Because when the brain is in the stress response, fight or flight, digestion is suppressed. So is immune system. So a number of immune system disorders are also created when the brain is in stress, in the stress response, fight or flight. Painful bladder syndrome, and a medical label called interstitial cystitis. Pelvic floor dysfunction, also created by brain perceiving danger. POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, right? But lots of people with POTS are getting better with this approach. TMJ, temporomandibular joint dysfunction, basically jaw pain. Tension and migraine headaches. I've heard a leading medical doctor in this field say that all headaches are, once you know you don't have a tumor or anything, but all headaches are TMS, they're perceived danger pain. Post-concussive syndrome. The body heals even after concussion. Look, depending on the severity, the healing from concussion can take a while. But if it lasts longer than the expected healing based on the severity of the concussion, oftentimes these symptoms have become learned or conditioned by the brain continuing to perceive danger. How does that happen? Fear and attention are often the two drivers behind whether or not a symptom will become persistent or stick around or become chronic. Tinnitus, which is ringing or distortion in the ears. Burning mouth syndrome, which also includes bad tastes. Also, very, very, very most often created by the brain perceiving danger. And if you've had medical conditions ruled out and treated and nothing worked, your BMS is perceived danger pain, TMS. Vulvodynia, Coccydynia, some people with neuropathic pain. There are certain exceptions to that. People with diabetes and, they've got neuropathies, but vast majority of neuropathies, neuropathic pains are TMS, perceived danger. Post-exertional malaise and other chronic fatigue type of syndromes. ME/CFS, people are getting better with this mind-body approach. So that means that there's likely not a physical, anatomical, disease-based process behind it, right? Some people who are told their pain is due to hypermobility, Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome. Not 100%, but some. And I actually worked with somebody who had a Ehlers-Danlos diagnosis, showed up to my first coaching call in a neck brace, couldn't lift their arms, and months later they were rock climbing at a rock climbing gym. So some people, not all, not 100%, but Ehlers-Danlos, sometimes the fear of these hypermobile joints creates the perception of danger and thereby the symptoms and the pain, but not all. That is a connective tissue disorder which can impact other systems in the body, so not making light of that. Functional neurologic disorders. This is essentially how they define it, is how the brain sends and receives information to and from the body. Wouldn't that define TMS in general? I just talked about a day or two ago amplification and misinterpretation. Well, wouldn't TMS and perceived danger pain be a functional neurological disorder where signals are not interpreted correctly or they're perceived under the umbrella of danger and thereby turn on symptoms or pains? I believe so. So if you're told you've got FND, functional neurological disorder, it's likely TMS, perceived danger pain. Plantar fasciitis, foot pain, another one. So you may have heard something that you've been told you have or something that you looked up and said, well, maybe that's what I've got. Best way to know isthispdp.com. Do the assessments. Primarily, I like the FIT assessment. So when you go to isthispdp.com, there are 19 questions on that page. Answer each one for each symptom you want to assess. And if there's one or more true answers, yes answers, then your brain is creating the symptoms. It's not a structural problem. So do that assessment. But just understand that if you've got any one of these medical labels given to you and your symptoms, just know that many people have gotten better from all of these medical labels with a mind-body approach. So you can too. And if you want to, not if you want to, I am strongly recommending you do the assessment so you can see how your exact symptoms behave. And if the FIT assessment, FIT assessment, stands for functional, intermittent, and triggered, if the FIT assessment, you've got one or more true answers, then your brain is creating the symptoms. That's wonderful news because you don't have structural pain or structural symptoms. Your brain's perception of danger is what's causing the symptoms. The great news is you can teach your brain to turn them off with accurate knowledge and messages of safety. So I hope this list helped. And if I don't remember to put it in the description of the video, remind me, and I'll go in and update it and put that list in there. So, hope you're doing well. Love you, and as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.